In a world saturated with noise, where standing out, being seen, and being heard often feels like a constant battle, it's easy to overlook the profound power of silence. The ancient Stoics understood this well. They recognized the strength in stillness, a quiet presence that captivates without a single word. Picture entering a room and, without effort, becoming its focal point, not because you're the loudest, but because your presence speaks volumes in its understated allure. This isn't mere legend or dusty philosophy, it's a tangible reality you can embody today. We're diving into the essence of silent attraction, guided by the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. It's more than making an entrance, it's about leaving an impression as natural as breathing. If you've ever felt drowned out in a world that won't stop talking, this is your chance to let silence amplify your voice. As Seneca said, silence is a lesson learned through life's many sufferings. Let's uncover the secrets to becoming effortlessly magnetic, turning heads without trying, all through the ancient art of Stoic charm. If this journey resonates with you, do me a simple favor, hit that subscribe button. And if you've ever felt different from the crowd, this message is crafted for you, so don't skip a moment. In a world that relentlessly demands conformity, where social pressures nudge us to mask our thoughts, mute our passions, and reshape our opinions to blend into the crowd, authenticity emerges as a quiet rebellion, a magnetic force that draws others in without fanfare. The Stoics, those timeless sages of resilience and virtue, understood this deeply. They saw that the truest strength lies not in shouting to be heard but in standing firm as your unfiltered self. Marcus Aurelius, in his meditative wisdom, reminds us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, suggesting that our inner alignment, not external applause, defines our worth. To be you fully, unapologetically, is to embrace every quirk, every passion, every vulnerability, and to wear them as badges of honor rather than burdens to hide. Epictetus, ever practical, offers a roadmap. First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. This isn't a call to perfection but a challenge to live in harmony with your nature, to let your actions mirror your deepest values: wisdom, courage, justice, temperance, those Stoic virtues that anchor the soul. Imagine the power of walking into a room, not clamoring for attention, but radiating a presence so genuine that it pulls others toward you like gravity. It's a signal, a quiet declaration. This is me, real, raw, and resolute. That authenticity, far from being a selfish act, resonates outward, forging connections that transcend superficial chatter, because people are drawn to truth in a sea of pretense. Yet, embracing this habit demands courage, the courage to stand alone when the world sways otherwise, to reject the seductive ease of fitting in for the harder, richer path of being distinct. It begins with introspection, a Stoic ritual of self-examination. What stirs your soul?
Wat pundarius define your spirit?
Seneca, with his piercing insight, warns, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor, urging us to find richness in our essence rather than in others' approval. From this reflection springs action, consistent, deliberate, authentic, where words and deeds align seamlessly day after day. Marcus Aurelius crystallizes it: waste no more time arguing what a good person should be one. In this pursuit, you don't just become attractive, you become a beacon, a living testament to the Stoic ideal that personal tranquility and social allure stem from the same source, being true to yourself. This is no fleeting charm but a lasting impression, etched not in noise but in the silent strength of a life lived genuinely. In a culture obsessed with sameness, your authenticity is your superpower, unseen yet felt, subtle yet profound, drawing others to you not because you demand it, but because you embody it effortlessly, every single day. The power of authenticity, embracing your true self. In a world where people are constantly pressured to conform, authenticity is one of the most magnetic and attractive traits a person can possess. True authenticity is not about rebelling for the sake of being different. Rather, it is about understanding yourself at the deepest level and having the courage to live in alignment with your values, despite external pressures. Stoic philosophy, which emphasizes self-awareness, virtue, and inner peace, serves as a powerful guide to cultivating authenticity. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This wisdom suggests that instead of worrying about how others perceive us, we should focus on living virtuously and true to ourselves. Society often tries to impose expectations, from how we should dress, think, behave, and even dream, but those who stand firm in their beliefs and values radiate a sense of confidence, integrity, and magnetism that others naturally gravitate toward. The paradox of authenticity is that while many people strive to be liked by adapting to external standards, It is actually the courage to be oneself, unapologetically, that earns the deepest respect and admiration. To fully embrace authenticity, one must first engage in self-reflection and identify core values. Epictetus, another great Stoic thinker, advised, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This means that before one can live authentically, they must clarify their identity, understanding what drives them, what they believe in, and what kind of person they aspire to be. Unfortunately, many people suppress their true selves out of fear of judgment, rejection, or failure, leading them to wear masks that hide their true character. Over time, this disconnection from the self creates internal conflict and dissatisfaction, as one constantly feels the burden of living for others rather than for themselves. True peace and confidence, as taught by the Stoics, come from internal harmony, where one's thoughts, actions, and values are in alignment. A person who is authentic is not easily swayed by trends, peer pressure, or the need for validation because they understand that self-worth is determined internally, not externally. This kind of unshakable self-assurance is what makes authentic individuals so captivating. They stand as pillars of stability in a world of constant change. Authenticity is not about perfection. It is about accepting one's flaws, strengths, and unique traits without shame or pretense. Many people fall into the trap of trying to project an idealized version of themselves, fearing that their real self is not good enough. However, Seneca, a revered Stoic philosopher, warned against such illusions, saying, "No man was ever wise by chance." Wisdom, and by extension, true self-confidence, comes not from playing a role, but from deep self-acceptance and continuous self-improvement. An authentic person does not seek approval, but naturally earns it through their sincerity and conviction. Consider the example of great historical figures such as Socrates, who fearlessly questioned societal norms, or Leonardo da Vinci, who pursued his artistic and scientific passions despite being misunderstood in his time. These individuals did not tailor themselves to please others. Instead, they lived in alignment with their own passions, beliefs, and values. The result? Their legacy endures, and they remain some of the most revered and respected figures in history. This is the power of authenticity. It creates a lasting impact, an undeniable presence, and an energy that is both rare and irresistible. Furthermore, authenticity fosters deep, meaningful connections, both in personal relationships and professional life. When someone is genuine, they naturally attract like-minded people who appreciate them for who they truly are. On the other hand, those who pretend to be someone they are not may initially impress others, but will struggle to maintain consistent, fulfilling relationships. Epictetus reminds us, "If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This means that true self-improvement, and by extension true authenticity, requires the willingness to be misunderstood, to stand apart from the crowd, and to embrace one's uniqueness without fear. People can sense inauthenticity when someone is forcing an image, exaggerating their personality, or pretending to be something they are not, and this ultimately erodes trust and credibility. By contrast, authenticity signals strength, as it conveys that a person is secure enough in themselves not to rely on deception or external validation. This kind of integrity is deeply attractive because it offers others a sense of stability, trust, and reliability in a world where many are constantly shifting their identities to fit in. A practical way to cultivate authenticity is through mindfulness and self-awareness. As Marcus Aurelius advised, "Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if thou wilt ever dig." Practicing self-reflection, journaling, and honest self-inquiry helps individuals stay grounded in their true nature. When faced with a decision, asking oneself, "Am I doing this because it aligns with my values, or am I doing it to seek approval?" can be a powerful way to realign with one's authentic self. Another powerful practice is radical honesty, not just with others, but with oneself. This means acknowledging one's fears, flaws, and doubts, rather than covering them up with false confidence or pretending to be perfect. Seneca put it best, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." An authentic person is content with who they are, rather than constantly craving external validation. This inner contentment radiates outward and creates an aura of confidence, stability, and quiet strength that is impossible to ignore. In the modern world, where social media often distorts reality, cultivating authenticity has become more valuable than ever. Many people feel pressure to curate a perfect online persona, showing only the highlights of their lives while hiding struggles and vulnerabilities. This creates an illusion that everyone else is living an ideal life, leading to feelings of inadequacy and the urge to present a false self. However, authentic individuals resist this pressure. They are comfortable sharing their real experiences, both the good and the challenging, because they do not fear judgment. They understand that true respect is not earned through pretense, but through honesty, vulnerability, and integrity. Brené Brown, a researcher on vulnerability, describes authenticity as the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are. The Stoics would wholeheartedly agree, as they emphasize that real strength is found in self-acceptance and personal virtue, not in conforming to the expectations of others. Thus, embracing authenticity in today's world is a revolutionary act, one that sets a person apart in the most profound and magnetic way. Ultimately, authenticity is the foundation of true attraction, success, and inner peace. The most compelling individuals throughout history, philosophers, leaders, artists, and innovators, were those who had the courage to be themselves, regardless of societal pressures. They understood that the world does not need more imitators, it needs originals. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, "Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to live. Your days are numbered. Use them to become the person you truly are." By embracing authenticity, we not only unlock our full potential, but we also inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of genuine connection, confidence, and self-respect. That is the true power of being yourself, living in alignment with your principles, embracing your uniqueness, and allowing your presence to speak for itself. Dressing with style and substance, the power of intentional presentation. Style is often perceived as superficial, but when approached with intention and substance, it becomes a powerful expression of identity, confidence, and virtue. The Stoics believed that external appearances should reflect inner values, meaning that what we wear should be a deliberate and thoughtful extension of who we are rather than a means of seeking external validation. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "A great mind becomes a great fortune." This wisdom reminds us that true wealth lies not in excess or extravagance, but in how we carry ourselves, cultivate our presence, and align our external self with our internal character. While Stoicism does not advocate for materialism or vanity, it does emphasize self-respect, order, and discipline, all of which can be reflected in how one chooses to present themselves. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor of Rome, dressed in a way that was simple yet dignified, reinforcing his philosophy of moderation and duty. His attire was not about opulence but about conveying discipline, integrity, and purpose, a principle that remains relevant in modern times. When we dress with style and substance, we project a message about our values, identity, and level of self-awareness without uttering a single word. Clothes are a visual language, and when chosen with thoughtfulness, they can silently communicate confidence, discipline, and authenticity. However, true style is not about following trends or seeking status through expensive labels, but about understanding what aligns with one's personality, aspirations, and values. Epictetus, another prominent Stoic, advised, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." This suggests that before one focuses on external presentation, they must first cultivate internal clarity, recognizing who they are and what they stand for. Dressing well, then, is not about impressing others but about expressing self-respect. It is an extension of virtue, discipline, and intentionality in how we move through the world. When someone dresses with purpose and coherence, it naturally draws people in, creating an aura of presence that speaks before they do. The power of intentional style is best understood when we recognize how clothing influences not just how others perceive us, but how we perceive ourselves. Scientific research in enclothed cognition has demonstrated that what we wear directly affects our confidence, mindset, and performance. When we dress in a way that aligns with our self-image, we naturally embody the qualities we wish to project, reinforcing our mental clarity, confidence, and sense of purpose. The Stoics believed that outer appearance should not be a distraction but a tool to enhance one's ability to function at their highest potential. For example, a well-fitted suit, a clean, structured outfit, or even a simple but well-maintained ensemble sends a signal of self-respect and self-discipline, just as a disheveled or careless presentation might indicate a lack of order or attention to detail. Marcus Aurelius, despite being an emperor, was known for his modesty in dress, ensuring that his attire was appropriate to his role yet devoid of unnecessary extravagance, demonstrating balance and wisdom in all aspects of life. This principle applies to modern life as well. When we dress with intention, we command respect without needing to demand it. A carefully chosen wardrobe also enhances our confidence in social and professional settings, as it removes distractions and allows our character, intellect, and presence to shine through. However, true style is about more than just clothing. It extends to posture, grooming, and the way one carries themselves. A person who walks with purpose, maintains good posture, and exudes quiet confidence is far more compelling than someone who merely wears expensive clothes but lacks substance or depth. The goal is not to use fashion as a crutch, but rather to ensure that one's external presentation aligns with and reinforces their inner character. As Seneca wisely stated, the one who puts the finishing touches on their life each day is never short of time. This suggests that just as we should refine our mind and virtues, we should also be mindful of our presentation, not out of vanity but as a reflection of self-mastery, self-respect, and purpose-driven living. Style, when paired with substance, becomes a form of silent power, a means of making an impact, embodying one's values, and influencing the world without needing to shout for attention. Mastering the silent language of body language, presence without words. Body language is a powerful unspoken form of communication, shaping how others perceive us long before we utter a single word. The Stoics, who emphasize self-control, presence, and virtue, understood that actions and presence often carry more weight than speech. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, reminds us, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. This suggests that what we think and believe internally reflects outwardly in our demeanor, posture, and interactions. A person who has cultivated calmness, confidence, and self-awareness will radiate these qualities naturally, whereas someone anxious, insecure, or distracted will reveal these traits through subtle cues. Mastering body language from a Stoic perspective is not about manipulation or deception. It is about aligning our external presence with our internal virtues. Consider how a Stoic warrior or philosopher would carry themselves: calm, measured, deliberate in their movements, and fully present in every moment. Their posture would be upright, yet relaxed, neither overly rigid nor slouched, embodying balance and self-assurance. Their facial expressions would be composed, unshaken by external events, revealing an inner world rooted in tranquility rather than chaos. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." This insight applies directly to body language. When we remove unnecessary fears and anxieties from our minds, our bodies reflect confidence, presence, and peace. The key is to develop awareness of our own nonverbal cues, ensuring that our gestures, posture, and expressions communicate strength, wisdom, and emotional balance. A person who walks with purpose, maintains strong but non-threatening eye contact, and listens attentively without fidgeting or interrupting exudes an undeniable magnetic presence, not because they demand attention, but because they command it through self-mastery and discipline. The psychological impact of strong, composed body language extends far beyond first impressions. It influences how we feel about ourselves and even how we perform under pressure. Modern research in enclothed cognition and power postures has shown that our posture and gestures can alter brain chemistry, increasing confidence, reducing stress hormones, and enhancing decision-making skills. Amy Cuddy's research on power poses, for instance, demonstrated that individuals who stand tall, take up space, and maintain controlled, deliberate movements experience increased levels of testosterone, linked to confidence, and lower levels of cortisol, linked to stress. While Stoicism predates modern psychology, the principles align perfectly. A Stoic does not seek external validation, but instead masters their own body and presence to reflect inner strength and clarity. Epictetus advised, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This mastery includes posture, eye contact, breathing, and movement, all of which should be cultivated with intention, awareness, and self-discipline. For instance, a Stoic man or woman walking into a room does not hunch over, shuffle their feet, or avoid eye contact. Instead, they walk with steady confidence, shoulders relaxed yet strong, and exude a composed, non-reactive presence. When they speak, they gesture with purpose rather than nervousness, maintaining control over their expressions rather than allowing emotions to dictate their reactions. This does not mean suppressing natural emotion, but rather responding rather than reacting, embodying Stoic equanimity. Think of the difference between a leader who remains poised under pressure and one who fidgets, shifts uneasily, or appears visibly overwhelmed. It is not their words that inspire confidence, but their ability to remain steadfast and unwavering. True charisma is not loud or aggressive. It is a quiet confidence, a silent authority that comes from self-awareness and discipline. Applying Stoic principles to body language means developing a conscious yet effortless physical presence that aligns with one's inner world and personal philosophy. To achieve this, practice mindful observation of your own posture, movements, and expressions. Are they congruent with the virtues you seek to embody? A Stoic approach to presence is about being fully in the moment, undistracted, and unshaken by external influences. Marcus Aurelius emphasized in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Strength in this sense is not just mental but physical, manifesting in a steady gaze, a firm handshake, an open yet poised stance, and a demeanor that suggests inner peace rather than external turbulence. One practical way to develop this presence is to engage in active listening, a habit that commands attention and respect without needing excessive words or gestures. When speaking, slow down, pause, and allow your words to carry weight rather than rushing to fill silence. Silence itself, when paired with confident body language, can be an immensely powerful tool. It forces others to lean in, listen closely, and respect the presence of a person who does not waste words or movement. Seneca's wisdom applies here. Speech that is brief and to the point is the hallmark of intelligence. The same applies to body language, being intentional rather than excessive, present rather than distracted, and still rather than restless. In a world where people often rely on excessive gestures, loudness, or artificial charisma to gain attention, the quiet strength of a Stoic presence stands out effortlessly, making an impact through restraint, control, and an undeniable magnetic sense of self-possession. The philosophy of scent, a Stoic approach to presence and identity. The concept of choosing a signature scent may seem trivial in the grand scope of Stoicism, yet when examined through the lens of intentional living and presence, it reveals profound depth. Stoicism is not about renouncing all earthly pleasures, but about engaging with the world deliberately and with virtue. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Perfection of character is this, to live each day as if it were your last, without frenzy, without apathy, without pretense." This principle extends to our physical presence, including how we dress, move, and even how we subtly engage the senses of those around us. Scent in this context becomes more than just aesthetic pleasure. It is a tool for self-expression, memory, and impact, allowing an individual to leave a subtle yet lasting impression without the need for excessive words or gestures. Seneca, who frequently emphasized moderation in indulgences, understood that true elegance is found not in excess but in refinement. A signature scent, then, is not about wearing overpowering fragrances, but about choosing an olfactory identity that reflects one's inner state. It is the invisible yet undeniable presence that enters a room before you speak and lingers even after you leave. The Stoic way is not to be loud, attention-seeking, or boastful, but to command respect through silent authority, discipline, and an aura of self-possession, and scent, though often overlooked, can be a part of this mastery. The psychological and historical significance of scent reinforces its role in personal magnetism and memory formation. Studies have shown that olfaction, the sense of smell, is directly linked to the brain's limbic system, which governs emotion, memory, and perception. This means that a carefully chosen fragrance does not just make a person smell pleasant, it cements them in the subconscious of those they interact with, forging connections on an almost primal level. The ancient Stoics were deeply aware of how the senses influenced human behavior, advocating for self-control and mindfulness in all aspects of life. While modern neuroscience has only recently confirmed the impact of olfactory memory, the Stoics already understood the importance of perception, presence, and intentionality. Epictetus, in his teachings, urged his students to be mindful of their interactions with the world, suggesting that everything we project, our words, our gestures, and even our scent, shapes how others perceive our character. Historically, even in ancient Rome, influential figures used scented oils, resins, and natural fragrances not as a form of vanity but as an extension of their cultivated persona. From frankincense and myrrh to cedarwood and vetiver, the elite and the disciplined alike recognized that a well-chosen fragrance was a subtle but powerful way of reinforcing presence, status, and identity. The lesson here is that your scent should not define you, but it should align with the essence of your character, mirroring calm strength, wisdom, and quiet confidence, all virtues of the Stoic path. But how does one apply Stoic principles to selecting a personal scent? The key lies in simplicity, intentionality, and authenticity. Just as a Stoic does not clutter their life with unnecessary distractions, one should not indiscriminately choose a fragrance based on fleeting trends or aggressive marketing. Instead, the fragrance should be a conscious reflection of one's inner philosophy. Ask yourself, what message do I want to convey without speaking? A scent should complement who you are, not overpower or misrepresent you. For example, an individual striving for Stoic tranquility and wisdom may opt for earthy, grounding scents like sandalwood, cedar, or vetiver, which evoke stability and resilience. Those who lean towards a more charismatic yet disciplined aura might choose something warm yet understated, like amber, musk, or bergamot. The philosophy here is not to impress others but to resonate with oneself, choosing a scent that reflects your virtues and enhances your presence in a way that aligns with your authentic self. Seneca's wisdom applies here. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. This means resisting the urge for excessive variety or artificiality, instead opting for a fragrance that is timeless, subtle, and deeply personal. By doing so, scent becomes an extension of self-awareness and discipline, rather than a mere accessory. Incorporating scent as part of a Stoic-inspired lifestyle also requires moderation and restraint, avoiding the pitfalls of excess and vanity. The Stoic approach to fragrance is not about indulgence, but about using all things with purpose and intention. Marcus Aurelius, though an emperor with access to immense luxury, was known for his ascetic lifestyle, valuing discipline and minimalism over unnecessary extravagance. This means choosing a signature scent should be a practice in refinement, not indulgence. It should serve as a tool for subtle presence, rather than a statement of opulence. Applying just enough to be perceived but never overwhelming, respecting the sensory space of others, and ensuring that one's fragrance enhances rather than dominates is part of this discipline. Additionally, choosing natural, high-quality, and ethically sourced ingredients aligns with Stoic values of integrity and virtue, rather than succumbing to mass-produced synthetic trends. Ultimately, the art of selecting and wearing a scent is a lesson in self-restraint, self-knowledge, and mindfulness, embodying the very principles that Stoics held dear. When used wisely, a signature scent becomes an unspoken yet powerful testament to one's character, reinforcing a presence that is both commanding and composed, an aura of quiet strength that lingers, just like the wisdom of Stoicism itself. The Stoic foundation of manners. Why respect is magnetic. Manners are more than just social etiquette. They are a reflection of character, self-discipline, and respect for others, all key virtues in Stoic philosophy. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. B1. This principle can be directly applied to the art of manners, which is not about following arbitrary social rules but about demonstrating respect, awareness, and self-mastery in all interactions. Many people misunderstand manners as a superficial practice meant to impress others, but from a Stoic perspective, they are a genuine expression of inner virtue. Seneca emphasized the importance of treating others with dignity, regardless of status, stating, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for a kindness." This highlights that true manners are not about seeking validation but about embodying empathy, patience, and self-restraint, qualities that not only foster deeper relationships but also make one instinctively attractive. In a world where self-centeredness is common, those who master respectful and refined manners stand out effortlessly. Just as Stoics seek mastery over emotions, mastering one's behavior in social settings, how one speaks, listens, and treats others, becomes an extension of one's commitment to personal excellence. Fluctuating moods, ego-driven reactions, and impatience erode presence, whereas those who cultivate calm, composed, and gracious interactions command attention without needing to demand it. This is what makes manners so quietly mesmerizing. They project inner stability, confidence, and a deep respect for the world, all of which naturally draw people in. The psychological and historical impact of manners on attraction. From a psychological perspective, people are instinctively drawn to those who make them feel valued, seen, and respected. This is why charm is often rooted in how one makes others feel, rather than just physical appearance or social status. The practice of attentive listening, thoughtful speech, and subtle gestures of respect can be far more magnetic than any external trait. When Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak," he emphasized active listening, a skill that is rare yet incredibly attractive. People often focus on projecting confidence through speech, but true presence is achieved through deep engagement, genuine curiosity, and restraint from unnecessary dominance in conversations. Historically, figures like Marcus Aurelius were known for their reserved yet deeply considerate demeanor, which commanded both admiration and loyalty. The Roman elite often practiced refined manners as a tool for influence, understanding that respectful dialogue and dignified conduct created long-lasting alliances. This is why graceful behavior was admired in leaders, scholars, and philosophers alike. The true power of manners lies in their ability to elevate one's presence without arrogance, making interactions fluid, effortless, and enjoyable. When one is calm, composed, and respectful, they create an aura of trust, making others naturally gravitate toward them. In modern society, where rudeness and impatience are normalized, those who embody grace and consideration become undeniably magnetic. Mastering the art of silent confidence through manners. One of the most overlooked aspects of Stoic attraction is the quiet power of restraint in social interactions. In a culture that often rewards dominance and loudness, those who exhibit patience, grace, and silent confidence create a profound impact. Seneca, known for his deep reflections on virtue, once remarked, "It is a rough road that leads to the heights of greatness." This reminds us that mastering manners requires discipline and self-awareness, just as controlling emotions and thoughts does. Consider how socially powerful yet effortlessly magnetic a person appears when they never rush to speak, never interrupt, and never let frustration dictate their behavior. Non-reactivity, self-composure, and the ability to maintain grace under pressure create an unshakable presence that intrigues others. Imagine two individuals in an argument. One raises their voice, interrupts, and dominates the conversation, while the other remains composed, speaks with clarity, and listens attentively. Which individual appears stronger? Paradoxically, it is the calm, disciplined one who commands more respect and admiration. This silent confidence is a Stoic mastery, an art of allowing one's mannerisms to speak louder than their words. By simply practicing patience, responding thoughtfully, and engaging with warmth and dignity, one cultivates an aura of quiet authority that is far more powerful than overt displays of dominance. The modern world overvalues loud confidence, but true confidence is displayed through subtle yet undeniable mastery over oneself, including one's social presence. The role of manners in relationship building and emotional intelligence. Manners are not just tools of attraction, they are essential for building and maintaining deep, fulfilling relationships. Many people mistakenly believe that charisma is something one is born with, but in reality, it is developed through the practice of respect, emotional intelligence, and self-awareness. Epictetus urged his students to keep company only with those who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. This highlights how respectful and thoughtful interactions elevate both personal and professional relationships. When one practices refined manners, they naturally cultivate relationships built on trust, admiration, and mutual respect. This is because manners signify emotional intelligence, the ability to navigate social situations with awareness, empathy, and grace. People are drawn to those who make them feel heard, understood, and respected, which is why thoughtful speech, a composed demeanor, and considerate actions create strong, lasting connections. Stoicism teaches us that the highest virtue is wisdom, and wisdom includes understanding the emotions and perspectives of others without being controlled by them. This is why practicing good manners is not about submission, it is about self-mastery, about choosing to respond rather than react. Someone who consistently treats others with dignity and patience, even in difficult moments, becomes a person others instinctively trust and admire. This translates to better friendships, stronger romantic bonds, and more influence in leadership roles. The most magnetic individuals are not those who demand respect, but those who naturally inspire it through their consistent and unwavering display of virtue. Applying Stoic manners to everyday life, a practical guide. To cultivate manners that mesmerize, one must approach interactions with mindfulness, intention, and restraint. The Stoics believed that a life well lived was one rooted in discipline and wisdom, and social interactions are no exception. Start by slowing down, rather than rushing to speak. Practice listening fully before responding. Observe tone, body language, and energy, and ensure that your response adds value rather than noise. Another key principle is moderation. Never over-explain, never over-assert, and never impose. As Seneca said, speech that is restrained, gentle, and wise is a reflection of inner tranquility. Practice understated elegance in social interactions, whether through subtle nods of acknowledgement, measured speech, or graceful presence. Let your behavior speak for itself. Additionally, remember that genuine politeness is rooted in self-respect. One does not need to agree with everyone or be overly accommodating, but rather remain composed and intentional in their actions. This means expressing boundaries with grace, disagreeing with tact, and offering help without expectation. In a world that often equates politeness with weakness, true Stoics understand that self-controlled, respectful interactions signify immense strength. Ultimately, those who cultivate refined manners as an extension of their virtue and self-awareness will stand out effortlessly, drawing others in through an unshakable presence of quiet confidence, warmth, and undeniable wisdom. The power of presence, why being fully engaged is magnetic. In an age of constant distraction and digital overwhelm, the ability to be fully present has become a rare yet highly attractive quality. Stoicism teaches us that true happiness and fulfillment stem from being fully engaged with the present moment, free from the anxieties of the future or regrets of the past.
Es Marcus Aurelius reminsu es, confine yourself to the present.
This principle aligns perfectly with the art of being magnetic. When you are fully present in a conversation, a task, or an experience, you command a powerful, almost gravitational energy. People are naturally drawn to those who make them feel seen, heard, and valued, and nothing accomplishes this better than deep, undivided attention. Think about the most captivating individuals you've encountered. Were they fidgeting with their phones, glancing around the room, or preoccupied with their thoughts? Or were they locked into the moment, fully engaged, and radiating an aura of calm attentiveness? The latter group naturally attracts admiration and trust, as their presence exudes confidence, self-control, and emotional intelligence. When someone listens without interruption, responds with thoughtful intent, and gives their undivided focus, they instantly become memorable and compelling. This ability is not innate charisma but rather a developed skill that Stoic thinkers like Epictetus and Seneca emphasized as fundamental to a life of virtue and wisdom. By training the mind to remain anchored in the now, one cultivates a presence that not only enhances relationships but also makes them undeniably magnetic.
The psychological science behind presence and attraction.
From a psychological standpoint, presence is one of the most powerful predictors of social connection and trust. Research in neuroscience and behavioral psychology confirms that when someone is fully present, their body language, tone of voice, and microexpressions naturally synchronize with those around them, creating an effect known as mirroring. This unconscious synchronization fosters deep rapport and connection, making others feel instantly comfortable and drawn in. Studies have shown that people rate those who maintain eye contact, listen attentively, and respond thoughtfully as more attractive, trustworthy, and intelligent. This is because presence signals a mastery over one's mind and emotions, a quality that subconsciously indicates strength, stability, and competence. Seneca, in his writings on virtue and human nature, reminds us that to be everywhere is to be nowhere, emphasizing that scattered attention weakens both the self and social bonds. In contrast, those who master focused attention and deliberate presence radiate an irresistible aura of confidence and poise. The modern world trains us to be half-present, multitasking between conversations, notifications, and inner worries. However, those who resist this norm and cultivate deep presence stand out profoundly, creating interactions that feel refreshing, genuine, and deeply engaging. Whether in friendships, business, or romantic relationships, being fully present is one of the most overlooked yet powerful forms of social attraction. Stoic mindfulness, training the mind for deep presence. Stoicism offers a practical and structured approach to cultivating presence, one that is rooted in self-discipline and mental clarity. While many associate mindfulness with Eastern traditions, Stoic mindfulness is equally profound, focusing not just on awareness of the present but also on mastery over internal distractions. Epictetus taught that man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems. This highlights the fact that most of our distractions are self-created, arising from overthinking, worry, and impulsive thoughts. By training the mind to let go of mental noise and focus on what is directly in front of us, we develop a presence that is rare and magnetic. Stoics practice this through daily reflection and intentional living, constantly reminding themselves to fully inhabit each moment rather than allow their thoughts to drift into the past or future. One of the most effective Stoic exercises for achieving presence is negative visualization, a practice where one imagines losing what they currently have in order to heighten their appreciation for the present. This technique forces the mind to snap back to the now, reinforcing a deep sense of gratitude and engagement with reality. When practiced consistently, this cultivates an unshakable ability to remain fully present, making one's energy feel calm, centered, and naturally compelling to others. The magnetic energy of presence in social interactions. There is something intrinsically powerful about interacting with someone who is completely engaged in the moment. Whether it's a conversation, a shared experience, or even a simple glance, full presence amplifies human connection to an extraordinary degree. Have you ever spoken with someone who made you feel like you were the only person in the room? That effect is created by pure presence, undivided attention, sustained eye contact, and a genuine interest in the interaction. This quality makes individuals remarkably attractive, not because they are physically different but because their presence feels rare, authentic, and comforting. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Dwell on the beauty of life." watch the stars, and see yourself running with them. This quote reflects a larger truth about human magnetism. When we are fully immersed in what is happening, we radiate an energy of appreciation and engagement that is contagious. The modern world is full of passive, disengaged interactions, where people are half listening, preoccupied, and detached. This makes true presence a competitive advantage, a secret weapon for making deeper connections, strengthening relationships, and leaving an unforgettable impression. Whether in romantic attraction, business leadership, or friendships, the most captivating individuals are those who make others feel deeply valued through presence. The ability to be completely in the now is the foundation of true charisma.
Ho tu cultivate presence ent make it second nature.
If presence is so powerful, why do so few people cultivate it? The answer is habitual distraction and a lack of mental training. However, presence is not an inherent trait but a skill, one that can be strengthened through intentional practice. Stoic techniques like voluntary discomfort, negative visualization, and journaling all reinforce the ability to anchor the mind in the now. One of the simplest yet most powerful exercises is the pause before responding in a conversation, before acting on an impulse, or before allowing your thoughts to wander. Pause, take a breath, and redirect your awareness to the present moment. This small act alone rewires the brain to favor deliberate action over reactive behavior, leading to a natural increase in presence and attentiveness. Another effective technique is single tasking, the practice of devoting full attention to one task at a time, whether it's a conversation, a meal, or a simple walk. This directly counteracts modern multitasking habits, strengthening deep focus and mindfulness. By implementing these small but impactful changes, presence becomes a natural state rather than a forced effort. Over time, this practice fundamentally transforms one's energy, making them more centered, more magnetic, and more deeply connected to the world. The art of fully living. Why presence is the key to attraction and fulfillment. At its core, presence is not just about social magnetism, it is about fully experiencing life itself. So many people move through life absent-mindedly, waiting for the future to bring happiness while failing to recognize the richness of the present. Seneca said, "The whole future lies in uncertainty, live immediately." This is the ultimate truth. The only moment we truly have is now, and the more we train ourselves to fully engage with it, the richer, deeper, and more fulfilling our lives become. In doing so, we naturally become more attractive, more influential, and more deeply connected to others. The practice of presence is both a personal transformation and a social superpower, one that sets apart those who live with intention, awareness, and depth from those who merely exist in a state of distraction. If you want to be truly magnetic, truly compelling, and truly unforgettable, train yourself to be fully immersed in each moment, because presence is the rarest and most powerful form of attraction in the modern world. The allure of mystery. Why being an open book is overrated. In a world dominated by oversharing, instant gratification, and social media transparency, the power of mystery has become a rare and highly attractive trait. Mystery is not about deception or secrecy, it is about strategic restraint, self-composure, and the art of revealing only what is necessary at the right time. The Stoics understood this principle well, teaching that one should only speak and act with purpose, never indulging in idle chatter or unnecessary self-disclosure. Marcus Aurelius emphasized this in Meditations, writing, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." This principle applies to our personal narratives as well. When we constantly reveal every thought, intention, and feeling, we give others full control over their perception of us, diminishing the intrigue and magnetism that comes from selective revelation. Mystery captivates because it creates an element of curiosity, compelling others to want to learn more, to dig deeper, to uncover what is left unsaid. The greatest literary characters, historical figures, and enigmatic leaders all share a common trait: they leave something to the imagination. When you cultivate mystery, you make every interaction feel fresh, engaging, and layered with meaning, making others naturally invested in uncovering the essence of who you are. The psychology of curiosity. How mystery stimulates desire. From a psychological standpoint, mystery is a powerful driver of human curiosity and attraction. Cognitive psychology has shown that the Zeigarnik effect, a phenomenon where people remember incomplete or unresolved information more intensely than completed information, plays a crucial role in social interactions. This is why cliffhangers in movies, unanswered questions, and ambiguous personalities intrigue us far more than those who reveal everything up front. When someone is mysterious, our brain naturally wants to fill in the gaps, drawing us closer in an attempt to resolve the unknown. Seneca reminds us, silence at the right time is the most powerful wisdom. This means that holding back certain details about ourselves, rather than always explaining everything, keeps others engaged and intrigued. Mystery fuels emotional investment, making someone not just interesting but unforgettable. This principle is evident in dating, friendships, and even business. Those who leave something unsaid, unexplored, or slightly veiled tend to hold people's attention longer and command greater respect and admiration. The mind craves complexity and depth, and those who embody an aura of mystery are perceived as having greater emotional depth and intellectual intrigue. Stoic restraint. Why less is more in personal expression. Stoicism teaches that self-discipline and measured speech are hallmarks of wisdom and strength. Epictetus famously said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This principle directly applies to the cultivation of mystery. Those who listen more than they talk, who choose their words with precision, and who do not feel the need to fill every silence with chatter naturally exude a powerful sense of presence and intrigue. This restraint is not about being distant or detached, but rather about being selective in self-expression, revealing only what is meaningful and necessary. Consider some of history's most compelling figures, from Marcus Aurelius to James Bond, from Audrey Hepburn to Steve Jobs. What made them intriguing was not just their talents but their ability to maintain a quiet, composed aura of mystery. They spoke when necessary, acted with deliberation, and left just enough unknown for others to speculate and wonder. Modern culture pressures people to share everything instantly, from emotions to opinions, but those who resist this impulse stand out as naturally charismatic. This does not mean being secretive or withdrawn. It means adopting the Stoic principle of self-restraint, ensuring that every word and action carries weight and significance. The magnetic power of unpredictability. Mystery is not just about withholding information. It is about being unpredictable, multidimensional, and complex in a way that keeps others engaged. Predictability is the enemy of attraction. When people feel they have completely figured you out, their emotional investment decreases. This is why individuals who constantly surprise, evolve, and redefine themselves remain captivating over time. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Be content to seem what you really are." This means embracing all aspects of yourself, your paradoxes, your depth, and your inner contradictions, in a way that feels authentic yet layered. Some of the most intriguing people have seemingly contradictory qualities. They might be strong yet gentle, confident yet humble, logical yet artistic. This contrast creates intrigue and attraction because it defies easy categorization. When you allow different facets of your personality to surface unpredictably, you make every interaction exciting and engaging, ensuring that people never grow complacent or indifferent to your presence. By mastering the art of subtle unpredictability, you create a natural sense of wonder and excitement, compelling people to lean in and pay closer attention. Silence and enigma. Speaking without words. One of the most underestimated tools of mystery is silence. Seneca famously wrote, "Silence is a lesson learned through the many sufferings of life." Many people feel the urge to fill every silence with words, fearing that gaps in conversation signal awkwardness or lack of confidence. However, mastering silence is one of the most powerful ways to create mystery and depth. When you allow pauses in conversation, maintain steady, unbroken eye contact, and let emotions linger before responding, you establish a presence that is commanding and unforgettable. Great actors, public speakers, and charismatic leaders understand this principle well. They use pauses, measured speech, and controlled expressions to create an air of depth and intrigue. People who rush to explain themselves, over-elaborate, or talk excessively dilute their impact. Instead, by practicing deliberate silence and restraint, you force others to listen more attentively, to observe more closely, and to invest more in deciphering your thoughts. This technique makes even simple conversations feel more profound and meaningful, leaving a lasting impression that lingers beyond the words themselves. The balance between mystery and authentic connection. While mystery is an incredibly powerful trait, it must be balanced with authenticity and emotional connection. Being too closed off, distant, or emotionally unavailable can create barriers rather than intrigue. The key is selective revelation, choosing what to share and what to keep personal while still maintaining an air of warmth and depth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What we do now echoes in eternity." This means that our interactions leave long-lasting effects, and if we cultivate mystery in a way that is cold or calculated, we risk pushing people away instead of drawing them in. The secret is to let people in just enough to feel a connection, while still preserving an element of depth and intrigue. This balance is what makes figures like Leonardo da Vinci, Frida Kahlo, and Elon Musk so compelling. They share just enough of their inner world to make people feel invested, but they also maintain layers of mystery that keep others fascinated. When mystery is wielded with warmth, humor, and emotional intelligence, it becomes a powerful magnet for attraction, respect, and admiration. Mastering the art of subtle enigma. To cultivate a touch of mystery, practice intentional self-restraint, strategic unpredictability, and selective vulnerability. Be measured in your speech, embrace silence, and allow people to discover you over time rather than revealing everything up front. Stoicism teaches us that true power lies in self-control, and mystery is simply an extension of that principle. When you become comfortable with not being fully known, you unlock a level of magnetism that is both rare and irresistible. The most captivating people in history and modern times have mastered the balance between revelation and enigma, drawing others in not through excessive self-disclosure, but through subtle layers of complexity and depth. If you want to stand out, be unforgettable, and maintain an aura of compelling intrigue, practice the art of subtle enigma, because the most powerful presence is one that leaves people wanting more. The power of cultural wisdom, why it sets you apart. In an increasingly interconnected world, cultural wisdom is no longer optional, it's essential. The ability to understand, appreciate, and navigate diverse cultures is a hallmark of intelligence, adaptability, and social magnetism. People who possess cultural wisdom stand out, not just as well-informed individuals, but as those who can connect deeply with people from all walks of life. Marcus Aurelius urged us to embrace this perspective in Meditations, writing, "The universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it." This reminds us that adaptability is a fundamental strength, and cultural wisdom is one of its most powerful expressions. In a world where many remain confined by their cultural biases, those who actively seek to understand other perspectives demonstrate an exceptional ability to bridge gaps, foster trust, and command respect. Whether in business, social relationships, or personal growth, cultural wisdom enhances your ability to navigate different environments with confidence and grace. The more you know about the world's cultures, the more intriguing, influential, and respected you become. The Stoic perspective on cultural understanding. Stoicism, at its core, is a philosophy of wisdom, self-improvement, and adaptability, values that align perfectly with cultural exploration. Seneca famously said, "Travel and change of place impart new vigor to the mind." This highlights the transformative power of exposure to different cultures, a concept as relevant today as it was in ancient Rome. The Stoics believed in universal brotherhood, recognizing that all humans share a common nature despite differences in language, customs, and traditions. Epictetus emphasized this when he said, "You are a citizen of the world before you are a citizen of any single nation." This perspective is crucial in modern times, where divisiveness and cultural misunderstandings are rampant. Those who embrace cultural wisdom embody Stoic virtues like empathy, adaptability, and intellectual curiosity. By learning about different cultures, their philosophies, and their ways of life, we become more patient, open-minded, and resilient, all qualities that enhance not only our personal lives but also our social and professional interactions. How cultural wisdom shapes your charisma and social presence. Cultural wisdom is a powerful social tool, making you instantly more attractive, engaging, and respected in diverse settings. People are naturally drawn to those who show genuine interest in their background, traditions, and way of thinking. This is because understanding someone's culture validates their identity and fosters deeper connections. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up, if you will ever dig." This aligns with cultural exploration. It's about looking beyond yourself, stepping outside your comfort zone, and digging into new perspectives, histories, and traditions. Imagine attending an international business meeting, a social event, or even traveling abroad. Your ability to speak knowledgeably about local customs, history, or even a few words in their language immediately sets you apart and commands respect. People who cultivate cultural wisdom become natural conversationalists, always having something interesting, insightful, and meaningful to contribute. In a world where many remain superficial in their interactions, those with deep cultural awareness exude confidence, intelligence, and sophistication. The psychology of cultural intelligence, expanding your worldview. Psychologists define cultural intelligence, CQ, as the ability to adapt and function effectively in different cultural settings. Studies show that individuals with high CQ exhibit greater empathy, problem-solving skills, and leadership capabilities. This is because exposure to different worldviews reduces bias, enhances emotional intelligence, and promotes a more adaptable mindset. Epictetus taught, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." This is especially true in the realm of culture. Many people assume their way of thinking is the only valid one, failing to realize the richness and depth of alternative perspectives. When you develop cultural wisdom, you break free from these cognitive limitations, allowing yourself to see beyond your own experiences and embrace a more holistic understanding of humanity. This doesn't just make you smarter, it makes you more open-minded, adaptable, and socially aware. The ability to read between the lines, interpret cultural nuances, and engage with people from different backgrounds is a rare skill that makes you stand out in any social or professional environment. How to cultivate cultural wisdom. Practical steps. Developing cultural wisdom requires intentionality, curiosity, and a willingness to step outside your comfort zone. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Dwell on the beauty of life. Watch the stars, and see yourself running with them." This means seeing the world as a vast, interconnected network of experiences waiting to be explored. Here are some practical ways to cultivate cultural wisdom. Read books and listen to stories from different cultures. Literature is one of the most authentic windows into a culture's values, history, and mindset. Reading books by authors from diverse backgrounds broadens your perspective and helps you understand how different societies view life, love, struggle, and success. Engage with people from different backgrounds. Seek out conversations with individuals from cultures different from your own. Ask questions, listen actively, and learn directly from their experiences. This not only enhances your understanding, but also deepens your emotional intelligence and interpersonal skills. Learn a new language. Even learning basic phrases in another language enhances cultural empathy and understanding. Language carries nuances, traditions, and worldviews that can completely transform the way you see a culture. Travel with an open mind. When traveling, immerse yourself in local traditions rather than staying in tourist zones. Try the food, learn the customs, and observe how people interact with one another. True cultural wisdom comes from experiencing life as the locals do. Study global philosophy and history. Different cultures have unique perspectives on wisdom, ethics, and life's purpose. Exploring Eastern philosophies like Taoism, Buddhism, or Confucianism, or African and indigenous worldviews, expands your understanding of human existence beyond Western thought. Watch foreign films and listen to international music. Music and cinema are powerful storytelling mediums that reflect the soul of a culture. Engaging with them deepens your appreciation for the diversity of human experience. By following these steps, you gradually transform into someone who not only understands different cultures, but embodies the wisdom that comes with such understanding. Cultural wisdom as a tool for leadership and influence. One of the greatest advantages of cultural wisdom is its impact on leadership, influence, and professional success. The most respected leaders, entrepreneurs, and diplomats are those who understand the cultural dynamics of their audience and tailor their communication accordingly. Seneca wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Engaging with different cultures refines your ability to navigate complex social landscapes, whether in global business, politics, or everyday relationships. Those who fail to understand the cultural nuances of their audience often make costly mistakes. Conversely, those who take the time to learn, adapt, and respect cultural differences earn trust, admiration, and influence. Whether you're negotiating a deal, giving a speech, or building relationships, cultural wisdom elevates your ability to connect, inspire, and lead. In an era where globalization is the norm, cultural intelligence is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. Mastering cultural wisdom, the key to a richer, more meaningful life. Ultimately, cultural wisdom is about embracing the richness of human diversity and expanding your understanding of the world. Epictetus wisely said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." The true value of cultural wisdom is not just in what it adds to your external life, better relationships, greater social influence, or career advancement, but in how it transforms your inner world. It makes you more patient, empathetic, and appreciative of life's vast spectrum of experiences. The more you learn about different cultures, the more you realize how interconnected we all are, bound by shared emotions, aspirations, and struggles. When you cultivate cultural wisdom, you become not just a citizen of your country, but a citizen of the world, one who moves through life with a depth of understanding, curiosity, and respect that few possess. In doing so, you not only become socially magnetic, but also experience life in a way that is infinitely richer and more fulfilling. The power of compassion, a foundation of true strength. Compassion is often misunderstood. Many associate it with softness, vulnerability, or weakness, yet in reality, it is one of the greatest strengths a person can cultivate. Compassion is not about mere sympathy, it is an active engagement with the suffering of others, coupled with a desire to help or understand. In Stoic philosophy, compassion aligns closely with justice, wisdom, and self-control, forming a core aspect of personal virtue and human connection. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most revered Stoic emperors, emphasized compassion in leadership, stating, "Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize?" This simple reflection reveals the interconnectedness of human struggles. We all have flaws, we all make mistakes, and recognizing this fosters humility and understanding. True compassion isn't weakness, it's a demonstration of strength, self-awareness, and wisdom. It allows us to forgive, uplift, and connect with others on a deeper level, making us not only better individuals but also more respected, influential, and magnetic in social settings. Stoicism and the compassionate leader, a rare but powerful archetype. The greatest leaders in history have all possessed a profound sense of compassion. Contrary to the belief that Stoics were detached from emotion, their teachings encourage rational, controlled empathy, the ability to understand and uplift others without being consumed by their suffering. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, stated, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." Compassion in leadership does not mean weakness or indulgence. Rather, it means using wisdom to guide and support others while maintaining strength and clarity of judgment. Great leaders, from Marcus Aurelius to Abraham Lincoln, Nelson Mandela to the Dalai Lama, have all embodied this balance, firm in their convictions but deeply empathetic toward others. Those who lead with compassion inspire loyalty, trust, and admiration, while those who rule with fear or apathy may gain temporary control but ultimately lose respect. In today's world, whether in business, politics, or personal relationships, those who demonstrate compassion in their decisions are seen as strong, wise, and worthy of following. Compassion as a social magnet, why it draws people to you. Compassion is one of the most attractive qualities a person can possess. People are naturally drawn to those who genuinely care, listen, and uplift others. Think about the individuals in your life who make you feel valued, understood, and supported. They likely hold a special place in your heart. Now, imagine becoming that person for others. Compassion signals emotional intelligence, social awareness, and strength of character, traits that make you irresistible in both friendships and romantic relationships. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, reminds us, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Active listening, truly engaging with people's concerns and emotions, is a rare skill that instantly enhances your presence and magnetism. When people feel heard and understood, they develop a natural attraction and loyalty to the one who provides that space. Whether in dating, friendships, or professional relationships, compassion builds trust, deepens connections, and makes people want to be around you. The psychological science of compassion, why it makes you happier. Neuroscience and psychology confirm what Stoicism and other philosophies have long taught. Compassion is not just good for others, it's good for you. Studies show that acts of kindness and compassion trigger the release of oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin, the brain's happiness chemicals. These neurotransmitters reduce stress, enhance emotional resilience, and create a deep sense of fulfillment. Marcus Aurelius noted, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Compassion reframes your thoughts, shifting your focus from self-centered worries to the well-being of others, which naturally elevates your mood and life satisfaction. Research also shows that compassionate people have lower levels of anxiety, depression, and loneliness. By cultivating compassion, you not only improve your relationships but also enhance your own mental and emotional health, creating a positive cycle of well-being. Compassion and self-respect, the importance of boundaries. While compassion is a powerful force for good, it must be balanced with self-respect and personal boundaries. Many people fear that being compassionate means being taken advantage of or overextending themselves. Epictetus offers wisdom on this, stating, "No great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a figure. If you tell me you desire a fig, I answer you must have patience." Compassion must be practiced with wisdom, patience, and discernment. This means helping others without self-sacrifice, giving support without enabling bad behavior, and being kind without allowing yourself to be manipulated. A truly compassionate person understands when to say no, when to step back, and when to offer support in a way that empowers rather than weakens others. Just as a Stoic remains detached from emotional overreaction, a compassionate individual remains strong in their personal integrity. This balance allows you to lead with kindness while maintaining self-respect and inner peace. Practical steps to cultivate compassion in daily life. Developing authentic, Stoic-inspired compassion requires deliberate practice. Here are some ways to cultivate it. Practice active listening. When someone speaks, listen fully before responding. Don't just hear their words, observe their emotions, body language, and tone. Engage in small acts of kindness. Simple gestures, like smiling at a stranger, holding the door open, or offering encouragement, create ripples of positivity. Develop empathy through perspective taking. When someone upsets you, try to see the situation from their point of view before reacting. Ask yourself, if I were in their shoes, what might I be feeling? Offer help without expecting anything in return. Stoics believed in acting with virtue for its own sake. Help others because it's the right thing to do, not for praise or reciprocation. Strengthen self-compassion. Many struggle with being kind to themselves. Treat yourself with the same patience and understanding you would offer a close friend. Volunteer and serve others. Engaging in community service, mentorship, or charitable work builds a deep sense of fulfillment while strengthening your compassionate mindset. Avoid judgment and assumptions. As Marcus Aurelius advised, self-reflect before criticizing others. Remember that everyone is fighting battles you cannot see. Use Stoic reflection to improve compassion. At the end of each day, ask, did I act with kindness today? How can I improve my compassion tomorrow? These steps, when practiced consistently, rewire your brain for greater empathy, patience, and kindness, leading to deeper relationships and a richer sense of purpose. The ripple effect. How compassion creates a better world. The impact of compassion extends far beyond personal benefits. It creates a ripple effect that influences society as a whole. When you practice compassion, you inspire others to do the same, creating a culture of kindness, understanding, and mutual support. Seneca noted, "We should give as we would receive, cheerfully, quickly, and without hesitation." This highlights the power of generosity. Acts of kindness inspire others to pay it forward. Compassionate leadership, whether in business, politics, or daily life, fosters collaboration, trust, and social harmony. When individuals, families, workplaces, and communities prioritize empathy and kindness, society as a whole flourishes. Every compassionate act has the power to shift the collective consciousness toward greater unity and peace. The final takeaway: becoming a Stoic beacon of compassion. Leading with compassion is one of the most transformative qualities you can develop. It strengthens your character, enhances your relationships, and elevates your influence. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's most powerful men, still valued kindness above all. In his words, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This applies to compassion. Don't just talk about kindness, live it. Embody Stoic resilience, wisdom, and warmth. By leading with compassion, you become a magnetic force for good, leaving a lasting positive impact on the world. The power of laughter, more than just humor. Laughter is often dismissed as mere entertainment, a frivolous indulgence in a world that demands seriousness, productivity, and discipline. Yet, psychologists, philosophers, and neuroscientists agree that laughter is one of the most profound forces of human connection, resilience, and well-being. The Stoics, while known for their emphasis on discipline and self-control, recognize the value of levity and humor as tools for managing emotions, navigating adversity, and fostering social harmony. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, reminds us, "It is more fitting for a man to laugh at life than to lament over it." This perspective is not about ignoring hardships, but rather choosing to respond to life's difficulties with a sense of humor and perspective. Laughter, in this sense, is a superpower, one that allows us to lighten the burdens of existence, deepen relationships, and radiate an effortless charm that draws others toward us. The science of laughter, how it transforms your mind and body. Modern science confirms what ancient wisdom intuitively understood. Laughter is a catalyst for well-being. When we laugh, our brain releases a powerful cocktail of neurotransmitters: dopamine, pleasure, serotonin, happiness, and oxytocin, bonding hormone. Simultaneously, cortisol, the stress hormone, decreases, leading to a greater sense of relaxation, mental clarity, and emotional balance. Laughter isn't just good for our emotions, it has measurable physical benefits as well. It boosts the immune system, lowers blood pressure, and improves cardiovascular health. In this way, humor becomes more than a social tool, it's a biological mechanism for resilience and longevity. As Epictetus, another great Stoic, reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By choosing to respond to life's absurdities with laughter instead of frustration, we build a powerful mental and emotional buffer against stress, anxiety, and negativity. Laughter as a Stoic strategy for resilience. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control external events, only our reactions to them. If we allow ourselves to be overwhelmed by every misfortune, every obstacle, every failure, life becomes a relentless struggle. However, if we cultivate the ability to find humor in our setbacks, to laugh at our own mistakes, to see the absurdity in the things that frustrate us, we reclaim our power. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and one of the most influential Stoic thinkers, emphasized this principle when he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Laughter, then, is not just entertainment, it is a mindset, a strategic way of engaging with the world that fosters emotional stability, adaptability, and resilience. The person who can laugh at their own failures is untouchable. They are immune to embarrassment, unaffected by minor misfortunes, and exude an aura of confidence that others admire. The social magnetism of humor. People are naturally drawn to those who can make them laugh. Humor signals intelligence, emotional intelligence, and confidence, all traits that are universally attractive in friendships, romantic relationships, and professional settings. Studies in social psychology show that people perceive those with a good sense of humor as more charismatic, trustworthy, and approachable. Why? Because laughter creates an immediate emotional connection, dissolving social barriers and fostering intimacy. In romantic relationships, humor is often one of the strongest predictors of attraction and long-term compatibility. When we laugh with someone, we feel bonded, safe, and understood. This is why leaders, public speakers, and influential figures often use humor to captivate and inspire. It builds rapport, eases tension, and makes messages more memorable. If you want to become more socially magnetic, developing a sharp, warm, and well-timed sense of humor is one of the most powerful skills you can cultivate. Different types of humor. Finding the right balance. Not all humor is created equal. Some types of humor strengthen relationships, while others damage them. The Stoics, who emphasized virtue and ethical living, would advocate for humor that uplifts rather than harms. Seneca cautioned against humor that degrades others, stating, "What progress, you ask, have I made? I have begun to be a friend to myself." This means that our humor should reflect the kind of person we aspire to be. Healthy humor includes self-deprecating humor, laughing at yourself, in a way that shows confidence, not insecurity. Observational humor, finding humor in the absurdity of life. Playful wit, engaging in clever banter and wordplay that energizes social interactions. Situational humor, finding laughter in unexpected moments. Conversely, toxic humor, such as mockery, sarcasm, and mean-spirited jokes, can alienate others. A true Stoic humorist uses laughter to elevate, not diminish. Practical exercises to cultivate humor. Like any skill, developing a great sense of humor takes practice. Here are some actionable ways to become naturally funnier and more engaging. Consume and analyze comedy. Watch stand-up comedians, read humorous books, and study how skilled humorists construct their jokes. Practice self-deprecation. Learn to laugh at your own awkward moments and mistakes. It makes you more relatable and confident. Surround yourself with playful people. Spend time with friends who joke around. It sharpens your wit and comedic instincts. Turn frustration into humor. The next time something annoys you, try to imagine how a comedian would narrate the experience. Develop comedic timing. Pause before delivering a punchline. Humor is as much about timing as it is about content. Keep a humor journal. Write down funny observations, mishaps, or witty thoughts throughout your day. Engage in light-hearted banter. Challenge yourself to be playful in conversations. Wit and spontaneity improve with practice. The role of laughter in relationships. Few things strengthen relationships like shared laughter. Laughter creates inside jokes, shared memories, and a sense of emotional intimacy. In romantic relationships, Studies show that couples who laugh together frequently report higher levels of satisfaction, trust, and longevity. Why? Because laughter is a natural stress reliever, a way to navigate conflicts, and a form of emotional bonding. As Epictetus wisely stated, he who laughs at himself never runs out of things to laugh at. The ability to bring humor into daily interactions, even in difficult times, creates a playful, enduring connection that keeps relationships strong. Using humor to diffuse tension and conflict. One of the most practical uses of humor is its ability to diffuse tension and resolve conflicts. Whether in personal relationships, business negotiations, or leadership situations, a well-placed joke can soften hostility, break defensive walls, and create an atmosphere of openness. Think about moments when a single witty remark transformed an argument into laughter. That's the power of humor in emotional intelligence. The Stoics, who valued diplomacy and composure, would see this as an essential skill. Instead of escalating conflicts through anger, humor allows you to regain control of the situation and steer it toward harmony. The Stoics' final takeaway: laughter as a way of life. At its core, laughter is not just about being funny, it's about embracing life with lightness, playfulness, and perspective. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. A life filled with humor and joy is a life well lived. When we can laugh at ourselves, at life's unpredictability, at the absurdity of the human experience, we develop an unshakable inner strength. Laughter is a declaration that, despite all of life's hardships, we refuse to be defeated. The Stoic approach to self-care, a radical act of wisdom. In today's fast-paced, productivity-obsessed world, self-care is often dismissed as an indulgence, a luxury reserved for those with extra time and privilege. However, the Stoics saw self-care as a necessity, not an indulgence. To them, taking care of oneself was an ethical responsibility, a way to cultivate the strength, wisdom, and clarity needed to fulfill one's duties to society, relationships, and personal growth. Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher, reminds us, the whole future lies in uncertainty, live immediately. This means that while ambition and responsibility are essential, neglecting ourselves in pursuit of external success is a misguided path. Stoicism teaches that self-care is not about indulgence or escapism, but about building the resilience necessary to navigate life's challenges with wisdom, composure, and endurance. Self-care is self-respect, the Stoic foundation. At the heart of self-care lies self-respect. Epictetus, another great Stoic thinker, said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." This isn't about vanity, it's about aligning our external well-being with our inner virtues and values. Just as we maintain a house to prevent it from falling apart, we must also maintain our bodies, minds, and spirits to function at our best. The Stoics practiced self-discipline, but they also understood that neglecting rest, nutrition, or emotional well-being leads to weakness, not strength. Self-care, in this sense, is not a selfish act, but an act of preserving and strengthening oneself for the greater purpose of contributing to the world. Physical well-being, a Stoic's duty to the body. The body is the vessel of the mind, and how we treat it affects our clarity, resilience, and emotional stability. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, emphasized this when he said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He understood that strength of character begins with physical well-being. A weak, neglected body leads to fatigue, sluggishness, and poor decision-making. The Stoics weren't bodybuilders, but they valued regular movement, clean eating, and maintaining energy levels to sustain their philosophical pursuits. Today we can honor this principle by exercising regularly, eating nutritious food, and getting adequate rest, not for vanity, but for optimal functioning. Mental well-being, the mind as a temple. Mental resilience was a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. Seneca warned against mental overexertion, stating, "The mind that is anxious about future events is miserable." Mental self-care means managing stress, eliminating unnecessary worries, and cultivating inner peace. In today's world, we are bombarded with information, distractions, and pressures that drain our mental energy. To follow a Stoic approach to mental self-care, one must limit exposure to negativity, curate your environment, including news, social media, and relationships, to protect your mental state. Practice journaling. Marcus Aurelius wrote meditations as a form of self-reflection. Writing down thoughts helps process emotions, gain clarity, and cultivate self-awareness. Engage in mindfulness and meditation. Stoicism is deeply tied to being present and aware of one's thoughts, much like modern mindfulness practices. Prioritize solitude. Spending time alone sharpens mental focus and allows self-discovery.
Emotional self-care. Mastering the inner world.
A true Stoic does not let external events dictate their emotions. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This means self-care is not just physical and mental, it is emotional as well. Emotional self-care includes setting healthy boundaries, recognizing when to say no to draining situations or people, practicing forgiveness, letting go of grudges and focusing on what can be controlled, engaging in uplifting social interactions, choosing relationships that add value, not drain energy, understanding emotional triggers, instead of reacting impulsively, analyzing why certain things provoke negative emotions. Spiritual self-care, cultivating meaning and purpose. The Stoics didn't adhere to any one religion, but they deeply valued spirituality as a source of wisdom, humility, and connection. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about his place in the universe, reminding himself that human existence is fleeting. Spiritual self-care is about seeking purpose, cultivating gratitude, and recognizing the bigger picture.
Von tu practices this trug.
Meditation on impermanence. Remembering that life is short helps us focus on what truly matters. Gratitude practices. Appreciating what we already have, instead of constantly seeking more. Nature walks and silence. Many Stoics believed time in nature provided clarity and peace. The balance between discipline and rest. Many people misunderstand self-care as either extreme indulgence or extreme discipline. The Stoic approach finds a balance. Too much indulgence leads to laziness, while too much discipline leads to burnout. Seneca warned against extremes, advocating for moderation in all things. True self-care involves knowing when to push forward and when to step back. This means balancing hard work with intentional rest. Overworking does not make you stronger, it makes you ineffective. Practicing productive rest, activities like reading, nature walks, or engaging in meaningful hobbies that recharge the mind and body. Respecting the body's limits. Pushing yourself too hard results in fatigue, illness, and mental exhaustion. The guilt of self-care, overcoming the stigma. In a society that glorifies hustle culture, many people feel guilty for resting or taking care of themselves. The Stoics rejected this notion. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not act as if you had 1,000 years to live." This means prioritizing self-care today, not postponing it for some distant future. Taking care of oneself is not laziness or selfishness, it is an act of self-respect and responsibility.
Withhood self-care.
Health deteriorates, leading to poor energy, focus, and decision-making. Emotional balance suffers, resulting in anxiety, mood swings, and strained relationships. Productivity declines, because burnout reduces efficiency and clarity. Practical ways to implement self-care daily. Stoic self-care is not complicated or time-consuming, but it is intentional. Here are simple ways to incorporate it. Start the day with mindfulness. Instead of rushing, take a moment to breathe, reflect, and set an intention. Move your body daily. Exercise is not just for aesthetics, but for mental and physical strength. Eat nourishing foods. View food as fuel, not just indulgence. Limit distractions. Reduce social media, gossip, and unnecessary mental clutter. Prioritize deep sleep. Sleep recharges the brain and body. Practice digital detoxing. Take time away from screens and constant stimulation. Seek knowledge daily. Read, listen to podcasts, and engage in meaningful conversations. Self-care as a lifelong commitment. The Stoic approach to self-care is not a temporary fix, but a lifelong practice. Epictetus reminds us, "No man is free who is not master of himself." True freedom comes from taking control of our well-being. Self-care is not about luxury or indulgence, but about creating a sustainable, fulfilling, and disciplined life that allows us to function at our highest level. By prioritizing self-care, we build resilience, cultivate wisdom, and create a life of balance, strength, and purpose.
The Stoic definition of independence. Freedom of the mind.
In today's world, independence is often misunderstood as complete self-reliance, a refusal to depend on others, an obsession with financial or emotional detachment, or a rugged individualism that isolates rather than strengthens. However, Stoic philosophy offers a much deeper, more sustainable definition of independence. To the Stoics, true independence does not mean living in solitude, nor does it mean rejecting emotional connections. Instead, it is the freedom to think, act, and live in accordance with one's own values, without being swayed by external forces. Epictetus, a great Stoic teacher, reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This means that independence begins within, not as an escape from society, but as a mental and emotional resilience that ensures external circumstances do not dictate one's peace of mind. Self-sufficiency, the foundation of true independence. The Stoics saw self-sufficiency as the key to personal freedom. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and philosopher, advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Independence, therefore, is not about external conditions such as financial status, job security, or even relationships. While these things are valuable, they remain outside our control, meaning they should never determine our sense of self-worth or stability. The true foundation of independence is self-sufficiency in thought and action. This means cultivating emotional self-reliance, finding internal stability, rather than depending on others to validate us. Intellectual self-sufficiency, thinking for oneself, questioning assumptions, and making decisions based on reason, not social pressure. Practical self-sufficiency, developing skills and habits that allow us to navigate life without unnecessary dependency on others. Emotional independence, the power of detachment. Emotional independence is not about suppressing feelings or avoiding close relationships, but rather about not allowing our well-being to be dictated by external validation. The Stoics practiced detachment, but not in the cold, indifferent way people often imagine. Seneca, one of Stoicism's greatest minds, explained, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Many of our emotional struggles come from clinging to expectations, fears, and desires that depend on others' actions or opinions. A truly independent person finds peace in their own internal compass. This doesn't mean avoiding love, friendships, or social bonds, but it means understanding that our happiness and identity should not be shaped by them. Independence and relationships, finding balance. A major misconception about independence is that it conflicts with relationships, that being independent means being alone. The Stoics strongly disagreed with this notion. They believed that meaningful relationships enhance life, as long as they are based on virtue, not dependency. Epictetus cautioned against emotional entanglement that compromises one's sense of self, advising, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This means that choosing the right people to surround oneself with is key. Independence does not mean isolation. It means choosing relationships based on mutual respect and shared values, rather than out of fear, loneliness, or a need for validation. The psychological benefits of independence. Developing true independence leads to greater confidence, mental clarity, and resilience. Psychologically, independence fosters higher self-esteem, knowing that you can rely on yourself, rather than needing approval from others. Reduced anxiety, understanding that you are in control of your thoughts and reactions, even when life is unpredictable. Stronger decision-making skills. When we think for ourselves, rather than depending on others' opinions, we make better, more rational choices. Greater adaptability. Independent people can adjust to change without fear, because they do not rely on external conditions for stability. The role of financial independence in Stoicism. While Stoicism teaches that true independence comes from within, it also acknowledges the practical importance of financial independence. Seneca, who was both a Stoic philosopher and a wealthy advisor, recognized that while money itself is not the goal, financial freedom allows one to live according to virtue rather than necessity. He wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." This means that true financial independence is not about wealth accumulation, but about being free from excessive material desires. To the Stoics, financial well-being is about living within one's means, avoiding excess and being content with simplicity. Developing skills that allow for self-sufficiency, learning valuable skills instead of relying on unstable sources of income. Avoiding material dependence, recognizing that money should serve a purpose, not be the sole measure of success. The role of discipline in achieving independence. Independence does not come naturally, it must be cultivated through discipline. Marcus Aurelius, in his famous work Meditations, wrote, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. B1. This is a call to self-discipline and personal responsibility. Independence requires developing habits that strengthen self-sufficiency, such as waking up early, exercising discipline over emotions, and focusing on self-improvement. Avoiding distractions. Stoics believed in eliminating unnecessary noise, including gossip, superficial entertainment, and meaningless pursuits. Mastering the art of saying no. True independence means having the strength to reject distractions, toxic influences, and obligations that do not serve one's higher purpose. Stoic minimalism. Independence from materialism. One of the greatest barriers to independence is material attachment. In the modern world, many people equate success with owning more, spending more, and consuming more. The Stoics rejected this mindset, believing that true freedom comes from needing less, not having more. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." This means embracing simplicity, owning only what is necessary, detaching from luxury, avoiding reliance on material goods for happiness, focusing on inner wealth, cultivating virtues and wisdom rather than material possessions. The independence of thought, thinking for yourself. One of the most underrated aspects of independence is intellectual freedom. Many people blindly follow societal norms, political movements, or popular opinions without questioning them. The Stoics, however, valued critical thinking above all else. Epictetus warned against being controlled by external forces, stating, "If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation." This means that to be truly independent, one must question assumptions, always ask, "Is this true?" rather than accepting ideas at face value. Avoid groupthink, recognize when emotions are being manipulated by media, trends, or social expectations. Cultivate a strong internal compass, making decisions based on reason and virtue, not peer pressure. Social independence, standing alone when necessary. The ability to stand alone in one's convictions is a hallmark of independence. Marcus Aurelius stated, "The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know anything about the subject." Stoicism teaches that it is better to stand alone in truth than to conform for comfort. This means having the courage to follow one's own beliefs, even when unpopular. Detach from toxic social circles that undermine one's values. Prioritize integrity over acceptance. How to cultivate Stoic independence in daily life. To develop true independence, practice self-reflection. Regularly examine whether you are living by your own values. Emotional regulation. Train yourself not to be overly reactive to external events. Simplicity. Reduce unnecessary dependencies on material goods and distractions. Self-discipline. Build habits that reinforce personal responsibility. The ultimate freedom, independence of the soul. At its core, Stoic independence is about liberating the mind and soul from external control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears." This means that the ultimate form of independence is inner freedom, the ability to remain unshaken, self-reliant, and in control of one's thoughts and emotions, no matter what happens externally. If you found the Stoic philosophy and principles of independence in this video valuable, show your support by white heavy checkmark commenting below to share your thoughts. How do you define independence? Are you practicing self-sufficiency in your life? White heavy checkmark liking this video if you feel it provides valuable insights that help you gain a deeper understanding of true independence through Stoicism. White heavy checkmark subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications so you never miss out on new content about self-improvement, Stoic wisdom, and living with inner strength. Direct hit. Are you ready to live a life of true independence and resilience? Join the discussion and let's build a community of people who remain unshaken by external circumstances. Rocket fire.